Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, T. I don't know, T. The new set came in and finished build. You know, that new set came in and we looking good. We looking good. You know, when the money come in right, you know, hey, you got to change some things up with the podcast flow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is the K.L.P Aftermath Podcast. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. We ready. All right. Y'all see it, the video version of this podcast. And I know a lot of people going to say, yo, K.L.P, you got a new set? I mean, you're changing so much up. So much of it's been changed up. We can't keep up. Let me tell y'all something. When you get sponsorships and networks, they give me critiques, right? There's a lot of partnerships. There's a lot of people that help push our podcast out there to the medium. They say it's time to change up the set. The old set, I loved it. It was great. A lot of our viewers said that the set was a little bit too messy. There was too much going on. A lot of people did say that the old set was a little too dark. So this time around, we are changing up a lot of things when it comes down to our sets. As you guys see it, I'm very happy about how the way this room came out. I think I am learning, and this is just a little bit of personality about myself, because simply this is something that I think I like the most. I watch a lot of podcast shows, right? I watch a lot of podcast shows. I get ideas from a lot of podcast shows. And lately I've been seeing a lot of shows that have the minimum look with their set. Some people got a lot in their set, and that's their personality that works for them. But quite honestly, I think I am more of the minimalist when it comes down to my design choices. A little tidbit about me personally for our fan base out there. I do like the minimal look in my house, right? It's not to say that I don't like a whole bunch of stuff in my house, because that's not the case. It's like I like it clean. I like it minimal looking. So yeah, we get critiques. We get critiques from fans. We get critiques from our network. We get critiques from people that watch the show, and they give me some ideas. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. You know, we had to get the K.L.P Aftermath logo engraved on the wall, and we've got the two computers behind me that's screening the video display of the logo, which you've seen that before in the old set. And then had to bring all the equipment in this room and added the chairs and everything here. Like I say, I like change is good. Change is good sometimes when it comes down to our sets. You guys know Bro Code Podcast, ATL had a change in our set there. So we're growing, you know, and this is just one of the things I like to do when it comes down to the growth of our sets. How do we grow and how do we make it better? And I think this one will work. Hopefully people will like it. I know some people are probably going to say or comment that they like the old set better. It's not to say that set is not in our archive. It's still here. You know, we're just using it for something else, right? But I like this set. This is the change that we're doing, T. I'm excited for it. It's clean. It's a little bit lighter in here, which is kind of great because I want the people to see my face, too. I want people to see it, and I think it works out really, really well from in here just because of the lighting and just the lighting, how the way, because we got the light kits on, right? And then we have the window over to the right? So we have the window, the lights, the cameras, everything is beaming in 4K. The equipment here on the table, we said the camera angle has to be a little bit higher so that way no one sees all this mess that's on the table. Let me tell you, when it comes to the production, in front of me right now, I'm looking at cords and cables and wraps, but it's hidden on camera. You don't see it on screen. So Like I say, hopefully you guys like this new set. I am very, very excited for this one. I'm excited for this podcast, by the way. Gotta give the air horn for everybody that's been watching the content as of lately. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. We had so many responses of the Bro Code Podcast ATL yesterday. We did last night's episode. Very, very excited for that because simply, Bro Code Podcast ATL is a show that's growing, number one. And it's another show that we get to dabble on into sports. And then that set in there, oh my God, I love that set. K.L.P Entertainment, my team K.L.P Entertainment, they're building these sets just to make sure we get the best possible outcome of the show. So I'm very excited for that, T. I'm excited. Of course, T is our producer for K.L.P Aftermath, but he's also a voice on Bro Code Podcast ATL, presented by our Heart Media, of course. I'm just very blessed to have a team that's getting ready and that's building this thing and just they're making some changes for us and just making us look good. I really am. I'm here for that. Very, very fantastic. So if you guys missed it, don't want to miss it. Last night, Bro Code Podcast ATL, we gave you an hour and 30-minute show. That was a great, great show last night. Very, very fantastic. Now, before we get to the topics of conversation, you guys know how I like to do. I like to do a little bit of a catch up. Right, it's been a while since I was able to be here at K.L.P Aftermath Podcast just to kind of catch up with you guys real quick. We had a lot of great things going out, of course. I'm very excited for this fall season, and I know I said this in Bro Code Podcast, but I'm saying it here. This fall is quite interesting because this fall we're getting ready for high school football season. Let me tell you something about high school football season. It is one of those things that I'm so blessed to be a part of. I say to a lot of people, if you are either in high school or in college or even professional, if you're able to go out to these high school games, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, and then in springtime, it's the baseball seasons, typically in springtime for a collegiate or high school, go out to these games. Of course, Friday, I was at Forsyth Central High School broadcasting a game. Very, very exciting. If you guys want to know my full intake, go watch Bro Code Podcast ATL, our official sports show, because that's when I dabble more into it. But quite amazing when it comes down to a show of that caliber, a production, a broadcast of that caliber was very, very fantastic. And, just living through the weekend, gym sessions going really well. Let me tell you, the gym, I know each episode I talk about the gym, and each episode I'm going to try not to talk about the gym so much in every episode, every podcast that we do. But let me tell you something about going to the gym now. If you guys seen the latest workout video of mine that's out there on social media, I have been grinding. I've been grinding so hard, audience and T, that I'm so blessed. I'm very thankful for, my muscle gain. I'm losing the weight tremendously. It is true because I am hungry nowadays. Let me tell you something. I'm hungry nowadays when it comes down to my workout regimen. But when it comes down to the workout routine, it's been very, very impactful. Shout out to my little brother. They gave me a tip on trying to decrease what is called my love handles. Now, let me tell you something. I say to a lot of people that meet me at the gym, I said, if you met me in 2015 when it came down to the gym sessions, I was a little bit husky, right? I was a bit of a husky person back in the day when it comes down to me being, I don't want to say I was super overweight, but I was chunky. I was like a chunky boy, right, back in high school. But now that years later, I'm feeling skinnier. And let me tell you something. When you're able to go to the gym and just really have a great time is quite amazing. You guys can see it. And I say this to a lot of people, and I think I might have talked about this in previous episodes, but I'll say it again. There's nothing wrong with being yourself at the gym. There's nothing wrong with that. Going to the gym to me is something that I do almost every day now, right? Back then I used to go like once a week. Now it came from once a week to twice a week on if I'm off. Nowadays that, my schedule has changed. I am in a different work environment nowadays. I'm in there damn near almost every day. And just to see the progress of it is just really, really fantastic. My brother put me on game where you had had a free weight, whether it's a 10-pounder or a 20-pounder. I do a 22-pounder when I do this certain exercise, and you kind of come up like this, but you do it, you inch over, and then you come up. As I'm doing it right now, I'm very, very sore on my sides because I've been doing so many sets of that. And I'm so glad about that. I'm so happy about that progress simply because this is one of those things that I just get very excited about to decrease my love handles a little bit because my love handles were thick. It was fat, nothing but fat around. They're getting much smaller. It does take a minute for that to get the way I want it to. And a lot of people did ask me, what is it that I'm trying to do with my weight gain, right? A lot of trainers come up to me and they ask me, what is it that I'm trying to do? Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay fit. I'm trying to stay healthy. Do I want the six pack and the super swollenness? Sure. I don't think I want to be that gigantically huge and big buff because it works for some guys. It just don't really work for me. Let me tell you something. Those guys who are bodybuilders, if it works for you, it works for you. Kudos to you. I'm not shaming you. But I do know I have come to the effects that a lot of people don't. A lot of girls, I'll say in my case, a lot of girls don't like the bodybuilders, right? They like just if you are fit enough and you're in shape, you're just good enough for me. Right. And that's what I see in my girls, too. You know, I see a lot of girls, especially today. Shout out to Crunch Snellville. Always my favorite gym. You know, there's a lot of ladies in there today. And I kind of felt, and I promise you we'll get to the topics of conversations on this podcast, but I like to open the show up with a story, T. I kind of felt, you know, I don't want to say I felt sad. I want to say that I felt kind of conflicted, simply because there are a lot of girls that are in there that I can tell that they probably don't have boyfriends. And I don't mean that as a slack. I don't mean that as I'm joking on the girls who don't have boyfriends because, hey, it is what it is. It's nothing personal. If you are a girl at the gym and you're by yourself, I'm in the impression that you probably don't have a boyfriend. And again, there's no shame. I don't have a girlfriend, so I can't shame you for that. But I felt conflicted because there's a lot of girls that go to the gym, and there's this one specific girl. I don't know her name. She goes there almost every time that I'm in there. Right? When you go to the gym a lot and you see the same people that you've seen before, you know who. I mean, you kind of see that same person. You know what she looks like because she's there almost every time. She's there in the morning time. And it's interesting because I posted a workout video 2 days ago, I want to say, guys. It was 2 days ago. I posted Bryson Tiller, which we'll talk about his new album on the podcast today. But Bryson Tiller, one of his songs, Keep Doing What You're Doing. And my narrative, my captions for that was, it's okay to, be yourself in the gym. Everybody knows that when I'm in the gym, I like to, I go in there, I work out, I push, yes. But I also like to dance. I like to sing. I sing out loud. I do. I can't help it. There's nothing that you can do, especially when you play in your jams. And when I'm singing, I'm laughing and I'm smiling and I feel so good doing it. And to my fellas, if you also do that, there's no shame in doing that. First and foremost, there's no shame at all. If you're able to go to the gym, work out, do your thing, have a great time, there is no shame in that game of you working out, singing along, and doing your thing. I got to say that to a lot of people. No shame. But I also wonder, do certain girls have a turnoff of us singing in the gym as men? I wonder that. Because, number one, I'm not going to change for nobody. Right? I'm still going to sing. I'm still going to dance and do my workout. I'm still going to do all those things. You can't stop me from doing that. Sorry. But I wonder, does that turn some girls off? Are we supposed to be, as men, are we supposed to just act so tough and lift and have a frowny face and a stern face and not have no type of emotion. I wonder that. And ladies, if you go to the gym, if you're a gym rat, comment below. I want to know what's that about. But I also know that there are certain girls that now that K.L.P is looking like Zaddy, because I'm looking like Zaddy right now. I look pretty good for the most part. Y'all seen the muscles and more defined. Y'all see me getting more skinnier. I'm able to fit my clothes right. I'm able to breathe right, eat right. And Byron, shout out to Byron. Fadeologist, guys. So first of all, if you guys want a good haircut, go see my guy Byron over at Fadeologist here, up there in Gwinnett County, because it is quite amazing. That is a good barbershop. I go there every time. You guys see it. Recently got my hair cut. I have to get my hair cut when my hair starts looking fugly, right? So Byron, of course, he mentioned to me and said, hey, I know you're doing your thing. I saw you say you work out well, you lift well, you push well, you eat well. There's something else that you do well that's you can't say on the PG. If you guys don't know, I meant you guys fuck well. I'm not a PG podcast. We fuck well when we're able to work out well, be more confident, eat well, sleep well. We fuck well. So, very, very exciting for it. And it's just, and I post things like that because I'm confident, right? I'm confident in my ability to lose the weight. I'm confident that I look really good. I'm confident to have inspiration and post workout videos and don't blink an eye on it. So very, very happy about that. A lot of trainers see the progress, right? They see that I'm getting swollen. My body's changing. Guys, I tell y'all, my body is changing. I look at myself in the mirror, it's changing for the better. And I'm more healthier now. But back to that one girl that I noticed now. And I got to say, I do think she's very cute. I really do. Sorry to my queens, because I like my queens too. But yes, she's a white girl. Yes, she's a white girl. Blonde hair. Yes. I know what the queens are thinking right now that's watching the show. I know what my fellas are thinking right now, what I just said. I get it. I like my queens too. I do. But I like my white girls too. Sorry. I can't help it. She's short too. She's a short little thing, right? And I see her a lot. And, I don't wear my glasses when I work out. So I knew I can see what she looks like. But when I first came to the gym and she was there, I had my glasses so I could see. I was like, oh, that's what you look like. Well, baby, you look even cuter with my glasses on because I can see. But as I'm joking, guys, that one specific girl, she's very, very cute. She's short little thing. Now she's short, and that's what kind of makes me nervous, T. Simply because, okay, you short. How old are you? Right? You got to be careful. Now, when I saw that one girl, and I wish I knew her name. When I saw that one girl that I'm talking about, 20/20 vision, because I had my glasses on so I could clearly see, her face looked like she's in her mid-20s, maybe 30s. But her body type and her size would be confused as if she was like 16. Now, if I ever have the courage, and I'm joking when I say courage, because I believe if I go up to her, I can spark a conversation. But the reason why I don't do that is because, unfortunately, in gym culture, us fellas, we run into that stigma that we can't approach girls in the gym or we might be labeled as a creep. So that's the one thing I don't want to be labeled as a creep. If I went up to her and just asked her for her name, at least, right? White girl, I'm a black man. We all know how that story goes. So maybe one day, right? Because I think she probably is not thinking this at all. Before my ladies get ready to attack me on the show, because I've said some things that I think ladies are doing, and then the ladies will chime in on the comments. That's not what she's thinking. You ugly. She's thinking about you. This is just a story. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that with my haircut, and I like the haircut. I like the fade. I shave my face too a lot because I don't like hair on my facial face. I used to have a beard. Yes, you guys remember I had a beard. I had the afro. I had the mustache, right? But as I'm getting older, guys, I'm 29, right? I'll be 30 next year. I can't. Some dudes are rocking the beard and the mustache and the not nappy, but some dudes have nappy hair. The afro and the braid. Some dudes are rocking that and it works. It just don't work for me as I get a little bit older and I'm representing more brands. I have to have a clean face, a clean shaved face, a fade down haircut. I like the fade down because I look better with the fade down, and of course I put conditioner, shampoo, and supplements in my scalp, in my hair. But I don't really have to do all that heavy stuff like I used to do. So that's kind of why I keep my hair shade low. But for that girl I saw in the gym, again, my ladies, I'm just joking. What I'm about to say next, it could be, it could be a thing there. But she, I noticed that we semi make the eye contact. Not as in I'm staring at her in a creepy way. That's not what I'm doing. It's just when you glance over, when you feel somebody's looking at you, you kind of glance over, right? Glanced over, right? I'm in one section of the gym and somehow she mosey herself where I'm at. Today, it happened today. I'm doing my free weights and she comes, let me tell you, T, she comes, I'm staring right, just focused on something, not at her. She's coming this way. I'm focused, I'm doing it. But at the corner of my eye, she comes right here, boop, and became kind of behind me. After all this space, you can go around, you can go back out that way and come back around. You had to come right up to me, boop, to the back. Like I say, shout out to Lil Shorty. I really wish I knew her name. I doubt she's watching the podcast, but I would love to get to know her. Not even if it's not on a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship level, I am looking for some more new friends too. We could just be friends. I just think she's really cute. I really like her workout regimen. Not staring at her, ladies, but like you can tell she has a great workout regimen. A man can dream, right? A man can dream because that is then that's one thing. I'll wrap up with this because I don't want to spend too long on this segment, but. That's why I was in the gym, not sad. There was a little bit of sadness there, but I wasn't sad. I contemplate because I see a lot of gym couples, right? I see a lot of gym couples in the gym now. As of late, I see a lot of gym couples. And it makes me sad sometimes because, like, I am the swole person that I am working out at the gym almost every day. I really care about my fitness and health, but it would be so dope to have a girlfriend to go to the gym with. Like, for all of you fellas who go to the gym with your boo and bae, there's this one social media couple that does the gym. Their names are Wanye and Naya. Is it Naya? Naya and Wanye. Naya, she's like the short little thing, and Wanye, he's really tall. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. I watch their Instagram stuff all the time of them in the gym, kicking with each other, bullying each other, but they're just so in love. And it's just, that makes me get giddy when I see that, and I envy that so much because just to see that your partner is really caring about their health as well, and both of them have matching fitness outfits at the gym. Oh my God. I can only dream. That's a man's wild dream right there, right? Because a lot of my friends that are girls that are in my circle, they got booze and bae, so I can't go to the gym with them. And then I've got some girlfriends out in the outer circle that don't work out, don't care about the fitness. And it's just like, So again, a man can dream. I would love for that little white girl, young, little, small, not young. Hopefully she's not super young. That's why. Because again, if she's like in her teens, I can't because I'm 29. I have to be careful. But my end result of this segment, I do wish that I had, a girlfriend I can go to the gym with. But, I'm sure it's coming. It's like I want the relationship, but I want my freedom. I want the relationship, but I don't want kids. I made that vividly clear. I want the relationship, but I don't want to get married. So, and you can have these things, but these are the things I want. But let's move on. Yeah. Hopefully y'all like that. All right, let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's talk about the latest in the Raw results. Let me see if I can get a refresh here. I think my computer booted up a few notes ago. Let's see. Let me get it from Bleacher Report real quick. Because Raw, I saw Raw the last night, and I'm very, very excited for that as well, because it's one of those things that I get very excited for. Monday Night Raw. Give me 1 second, guys, because it is not loading up the Raw results. They're talking about, oh, yeah, this is from July 14th. That was weeks ago. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. This is what we do live, y'all. This is what we do live. It was the 11th. That was last night. Okay, that is what I'm looking for. Yeah, from August 11th. Okay, now I'm ready. So Raw came on last night. Of course, you guys know how I do it on the K.L.P. Aftermath podcast show. I always like to do my full Raw results. Of course, they were from the Century Videotron in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. So they were not in the States this week. Maybe that might be something I need to go to, is Canada, because I've never been to Canada. So Clash of Paris is on its way out, coming very soon as they travel to Paris, and they travel on their Europe tour for WWE. And I actually didn't think that this show was that bad. Of course, here is the match card that we had scheduled. We had the CM Punk promo, Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch. I got some words on that. Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I got some things on that. And then we had the CM Punk LA Knight versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Now, very good for their LA Knight and CM Punk promo. I am pretty glad, and I think this is something that, you know, when I talked about on the Broco podcast last night about Karrion Kross having a voice, LA Knight has some thoughts on his creative writing style and his creatives writing him into main roster. I am glad. First of all, I'm glad he's on Monday Night Raw, right? Because that is between Raw and PLEs. Those are the shows that I watch live. SmackDown, not so much, because I don't have YouTube TV or I don't have cable TV, right? I am glad that LA Knight is getting more of a push. I think it's been time for him to become champion. Not Intercontinental Champion, not US champion as in WWE champion or WWE World Heavyweight Champion, right? It's time. So they cut a promo. I'm glad LA Knight didn't stumble with the promo. The promo did feel a bit long. They didn't stumble on their promo, but it felt like they kind of forgot what they were saying. And when you watch WWE as long as I have, you can know what they're saying. Of course, CM Punk did the final blow on his promo, and then LA Knight said, say my line, say my line, say my line on camera. And then CM Punk said LA Knight's line, which is, yeah, you know, that's his line. That's his catchphrase. So again, these things, and I think this is because we watched the docuseries on Netflix called WWE Unreal. So they kind of expose some things. So these things I already know because I've been a WWE fan for years. So I already know that some of it is scripted, some of it is production, some of it is acting. But don't show us on camera. Don't make it obvious, right? It's the same kind of concept with John Cena back in the day, where he would call his spots really, really, really loud to where we can hear what he's saying with his next spot move. Like, we get it, but don't make it obvious. Keep it to our imagination still, is what I think. Because with the WWE Unreal show, some people say Vince McMahon would never let that show air. A lot of people would never let that show out because now, after watching Unreal, not to me, because I'm still going to buy a ticket when they come to Atlanta. I'm still going to go. It's still a spectacle. But a lot of people have some different opinions on wrestling now, right, with WWE. So very, very excited for that. Of course, CM Punk comes out kind of promo and said that technically he was champion all for 5 minutes, but he was champion. But then he gets cashed in from the belt from Seth Rollins, we all know, at SummerSlam. LA Knight comes out because last week, LA Knight had the opportunity in Brooklyn, for a win for the championship belt in the championship match against Seth Rollins, but CM Punk interfered and got LA Knight disqualified. So now LA Knight is back for vengeance. Of course, we have Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Ron Breakker come out to cut their promo. And now it is made official by Adam Pearce that later on that night we got a match between Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, CM Punk, and LA Knight. Very good for that. I just kind of felt like the promo was kept a little bit longer. The next match was AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Let me tell you something. I felt that this match was a little bit too long. I really did. I felt like this match was really, really long, and they had a lot of good moments, right? Very, very outtakes when it comes down to it. Again, they're kind of promoting the AAA Triple Mania event that's this Saturday. First of all, congratulations to Corey Graves. Corey Graves will be the lead commentator on that show for AAA. Good. I think I've said this in many, many podcast shows. I'll say it again in this one. I think Corey Graves understands that sometimes business is business, and sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut, right? Because you could have your spot taken away from you because you decide to tweet. Again, we all know about him tweeting about Pat McAfee stealing his spot with Michael Cole on Raw when Pat McAfee was commentating. Business is business, right? Some people may not like Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee. Some people don't like him. You got to keep your mouth shut, and you just got to understand business is business, is not personal. So I am glad that Corey Graves is back on Raw. I'm glad that he's going to be a lead commentator for Triple Mania this Saturday. Of course, they got JBL as his guest commentator for Triple Mania. That's going to be very, very cool. I do think JBL should come back in commentating because why not? I mean, and JBL probably got stuff to do, right? But I say this: what else do you have to do, JBL? It's a great moment, and JBL is a veteran commentator that he really don't have to say much, right? If Corey Graves is the play-by-play analyst, then JBL is going to be like the color, right? It's the same thing. Michael Cole on Raw, he is the play-by-play, he's the leader, and Corey Graves is the color, right? With color, you commentate on your color if you're a color analyst, but you don't have to say as much as your lead play-by-play guy. So very, very excited for that as well. They're matching it up. Again, I'm starting to grow on Dominic Mysterio. Honestly, there's going to be some moments where he's impressed me. I'm glad that Dragon Lee is back on main roster and he's performing more, right? Because I said it in last week's episode, guys, that Dragon Lee was a top star when he first came out, but then he kind of faded out. I like to see him more, right? Of course, Mysterio and Americano did defeat Styles and Lee after a bum rush of Dominic putting the metal plate in the mask and headbutts AJ Styles after a monkey flip pin. Very, very excited for that. We did have Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I get why Sami Zayn was in this match because on SmackDown, they were in Montreal, right? So Montreal and Quebec, they're two different cities. Montreal on SmackDown, obviously he came up with the win with Jey Uso, the U.S. champ on SmackDown. It makes sense because he's from Canada. You got to have somebody repping that hometown there. So very, very exciting. We did see this one matchup was actually not bad for the most part. This match was quite gruesome. Sami Zayn can keep up with Rusev, which was very good. It did end up into a disqualification after the new bloodline, Solo Sikoa and team interferes with that match, attacks Sami Zayn, and now Rusev technically was disqualified from the match. But when it came down to it, Sheamus came out and did a rope kick. And again, it's that whole angle with Sheamus and Rusev. I'm kind of tired of it. I am. It's overwhelming between Rusev and Sheamus now. I don't want to see that story going too long, but I feel like they're going to have something next week for Rusev and Sheamus again for next week's Raw episode. But Sami Zayn can keep up. Do I think he should be champion? Yeah. I feel like they're trying to figure out what it is Sami Zayn. Where can we put Sami Zayn into this thing, right? And then you had Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez because Io Sky was supposed to go against Naomi for the championship last night. That didn't happen due to injury for Naomi. So Io Sky, they had to throw her against Roxanne Perez because it is one of those moments where If Naomi's hurt, they can't compete, then hey, you got to throw her into something else. I'm a big Io Sky fan. Again, high flying moves. Her face says it all when she. I think Io Sky is more like, and I saw it that she wasn't in pain; she was just irritated. I really like it where when Io Sky cuts her promo, and you see that now when she cuts her promo, it is one of those things where it's very funny because she started cussing in Japanese. So very, very funny how she does it because it's just like she's cussing people out in Japanese and you don't know what they're saying. They declined. Io Sky did decline the backup between Damage Control teammates. That was Asuka and Kairi Sane. They were all in this group called Damage Control. Bailey was semi part of that group as well. In the ring, Perez showed up to fight, dominating the portion of the match, but putting Sky onto a defensive side of it. A lengthy contest continues. Raquel Rodriguez interfering on behalf of her Judgment teammate. Again, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, their teammates for the Judgment Day. But then she fended off both offenses, of course, and then Asuka and Kairi Sane intervened in the match as well. But it ended up to be a high tide when it comes down to Perez defeating Io Sky. We saw a lot of Io Sky when it comes down to these the segments. A lot of Io Sky was there cutting promos. She was upset. She didn't want any help from Kairi Sane and Asuka. She said, "Leave me alone. I won't none a part of it." And as we turn the page here, Laura Vaqueria did her segment on Raw as well. They did an interview with her and said, "Hey, Bailey," because they cut a package video for Bailey saying that her career has been on the down slopes. She's been kind of lackluster in WWE lately. Obviously, she wasn't at WrestleMania. She wasn't booked for SummerSlam. She had matches, but she hasn't had as much matches for the start of it because she's coming back from injury as well. And then she gets kind of sadistic, right? So I think this is the turning point where Bailey is turning heel again. Sure, if it works. We'll see what happens with Bailey. I'm not a huge Bailey fan. I mean, she can wrestle and she's good at what she does. I'm just not a big fan of it. But after we seen that promo, we seen Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch. And I like Maxine Dupree. She's pretty. She saw Becky Lynch in the ring, sweet cheeks. When Becky Lynch said that last week, that was the funniest thing. She's like, "I'll see you next week, sweet cheeks." Let me tell you something. Gosh, I want to see Maxine Dupree perform better. I hate to say it because I say this to a lot of superstars, but Maxine Dupree is the spoof wrestler of WWE. She's not taken serious. She's not that good of a wrestler. She's the funny, kooky wrestler to entertain us. And I get it. It's entertainment. But if they put Maxine Dupree through Performance Center and she performed really, really well, Maxine Dupree could be more than just a sweet piece of ass. And I hate to say that about Maxine Dupree because that's not what I think about our women's division at all. But Maxine Dupree, not me, but I'm just a podcaster. I want Maxine Dupree to be more than just a sweet piece of ass. Right? I really do. Because I think she's talented. She has the height. She has the muscles. Like her arms were out. She got the muscles. But Becky Lynch versus Maxine, that was an ass whipping that Becky Lynch gave Maxine Dupree. It was a hands down ass kicking. It was. I'm sorry, y'all. Lynch submitted Dupree. Of course, it was a disarmer. That's her disarmer move. And of course, Maxine Dupree tapped out. I do think we're going to get ready to see Becky Lynch versus Natalya next. And then eventually we're going to see Lynch versus Nikki Bella, right? We're going to see that coming very, very soon. Maxine tried to put up a comeback in the defense. But again, to me, honestly, when I saw that match, that was an ass beat. She got her ass beat by Becky Lynch. I'm just going to be honest. I'm kind of tired of the Alpha Academy, Akira, Maxine, and Otis. it's gone. It's time to cut it. It's time. It's ran its course, right? No one's really looking at Alpha Academy again. Those are just like the spoof team of WWE, and I hate these little spoof teams because it's something to entertain us, yes, but like I'm here for the sport. I like the entertainment, but like, damn, if Maxine Dupree gave us a good match, a good ass whooping, that would have been great, right? And then the finale, we had CM Punk, LA Knight versus The Vision. That is the team of Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins. When Michael Cole said, "Yeah, great defense from the Vision," I forgot that's what they call them. I'm probably gonna forget that they're called that. I'm just gonna call them Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins, but they are called the Vision. That's their official faction name. That was a good match, very very good match when it comes down to it. Braun Breaker, solidified badass. I love watching him wrestle. I really love the way he wrestles because he's fast. He's like the dog, like the badass dog of WWE. He can go. LA Knight, always good to see LA Knight perform. Again, to see his athleticism is really, really amazing to watch. CM Punk has always been the greatest. He did semi get his butt kicked by Bronson Reed at the beginning of the match, but he did give us kind of like a slobber knocker to give us something to remember the match by. After the match, we had after that promo too, it was cut into that. It was interrupted because you had more people. Now, Punk Knight defeated Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker via disqualification because there was a lot of interference between Jey Uso. Of course, Seth Rollins got involved into the match and beating everybody up as well. So Seth Rollins got involved. And then now that's when Jey Uso comes out, does a thing. Everybody's getting stomped. Everybody getting tsunami. And then Adam Pearce comes out and says that, hey, now we're going to have a fatal four-way match. So it's going to be Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and Seth Rollins at Clash of Paris coming up very soon. So all around, the matchup there was pretty good for the most part. Bleacher Report gives it a C+. It was watchable. It was watchable. It was very, very good show to watch, and we can't wait to see what happens next week when it comes down to Raw next week. Going to be very, very exciting, guys. All right. So I do need to get the button for a review, like a review button. I'm probably going to still build that into the board because we don't have that quite just yet because I got wrapped up. Because we need a review button. Because as I play video games and I watch movies and shows, I like to do a review on them. All right. So coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It's a great time to be a gamer, as always. So I hate that I kind of forgot that this game came out. And you guys know what I like to do. I like to watch other video game reviews. I've said this plenty of times, T, and I'll say it again. I like to watch other video game reviews because I like to get involved with the community. I like to see what the reviews are saying before I make the purchase of a new video game. Now, I have been a big fan of the Mafia games. I have. I played all three of them. I gotta say, I think I like the fourth one is the one I'm about to review. I like that. This one now is my favorite. But before the fourth one came out, and yes, we're gonna do a review on Mafia: The Old Country today. Before that game came out, it was Mafia 2 that I liked the best. Mafia 3 had the potential to be a very good game, but it flopped. Unfortunately, it flopped. I bought it years ago. I bought it. I played it. I just couldn't. I didn't really like Mafia 3 that much. It had the potential, but it just didn't hit well. But boy, howdy. Let me tell y'all about Mafia: The Old Country. There we go. So IGN gives this game, T, an audience, an 8 out of 10 from IGN. Game Rant gives it a 5 out of 10. GameSpot gives it a 6 out of 10. I gotta say, the 8 out of 10 for IGN, I can see that it gave it that. Now, obviously, by the grace of God, presented by iHeartMedia, we were able to purchase Mafia: The Old Country for PlayStation 5. And over the past weekend, besides the high school football games I had to go to on Friday, throughout the weekend, and I had to share the time because I was editing, doing some stuff, and then I was playing Asgard's Wrath 2. Great game on MetaQuest. If you guys want to know my review, watch last week's episode. This game, it's really good for what it is. First and foremost, I'm glad that this game they gave it at the price tag of $50. I think that is reasonably priced for this title. Even if they market this game for $40, that to me would have been a steal for this game. Now, a little bit about the game here. Old Country, it is based off, of course, it is a 2025 action-adventure game developed by Hangar 13. Hangar 13 has been going through a lot of reconstruction. They made a lot of layoffs because of Mafia 3 being a flop. They had to let go a lot of employees. And, of course, it was published by 2K. 2K is the group. Obviously, we all know who 2K is. They publish all the sports games, just about. So it is the fourth main entry for the Mafia franchise, and it's a prequel to the series. So it is setting in the 1900s of Sicily, Italy, way before Mafia 1, 2, and 3. We're going back in time, taking place decades before the events of the first game of Mafia 1. This game is available for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, GeForce Now, and Microsoft Windows. They did use Unreal Engine 5. And let me tell you something. We've made films with Unreal Engine 5. That's a tongue twister there, T. And some things are spotty when you're using Unreal Engine nowadays. It's spotty some spots. For what this game is, I think it's worth it. You're playing a main character. His name is Enzo. And then you get to work with the Teresis and the Giuseppes. And you have a love interest of Isabella. Let me tell you about Isabella. She's going to get me in trouble. Isabella is the daughter of Don Teresi, right? Don Teresi is the boss of your mafia clan that you're joining. We watch Scarface. We watch The Godfather. We watch all these mafia movies. If you're in a mafia, you do not screw around with the boss's daughter. You don't. But Enzo has, and I'm doing a sort of a half review because I haven't finished. The game just came out, so I haven't finished the full game yet. But this game is described as a conventional third-person action adventure, and many find the gameplay, some people will say, is mediocre, and the story linear, which distracts from the overall experience. Let me tell you something about this, though. This is me as a gamer. Again, a lot of people have their different thoughts on this video game. A lot of people don't like the linear. A lot of people don't like the mediocre type the gameplay. Let me tell you something. I will agree. Mafia: The Old Country does have some, I don't want to say rinse and repeat, but a very standard stealth mode. Stealth mode, when you're choking somebody out and have to hide them in the box, doing that remind me of Hitman, right? Hitman does the same kind of thing. You're driving the car, the vehicles, or riding the horse. That is very standard in most games now. I will say, I do like the sound mechanics from the sound engineering of the vehicles that you drive. I think it sounds very premium. I really do. When you're riding the horse, if you're riding a horse around town, the sound effects that the horse makes while it's galloping, that's actually not bad. I'm going to say that. I will say it is very standard when it comes down to stealthy that doesn't offer anything new, improved, or new experience to the stealth mode. I will say that. As a fair reviewer, I will say that. Because a lot of people have been saying that. So I do agree with that. But on the flip side, I'm not really good at stealthy games myself. I'm not. Can I play a stealthy game? Yes, definitely. Am I good at it? No. Right? If I try to be stealthy, a guard might find the person that I choked out on the ground, and now they're on high alert. I'm hiding, and somehow they find me, and now I'm doing the shootout. That's just how bad I am on a stealthy video game. I find myself in this game where I try to be stealthy. It never works. It's always they find me hiding, and it's a shootout. I always go for the shotgun because it's an easy one click, bam, you're dead, insta dead from a shotgun in this game. I will agree to that. That's why I say that, and I think I agree with what's his name, Luke Stevenson or Luke Stevens. He's another YouTuber out there that I watch. I agree with his review. I like narrative video games. I really do. When I buy a video game, I look for the campaign mode, right? You don't really catch me, unless it's a sports game, or a race game, you don't really catch me playing a game that doesn't have a campaign. You don't. You're not going to catch me playing a game. Do I play co-op? Yes. Just yesterday I played Mario Kart World with some friends online. I'm a huge co-op player in that instant, but I don't like the online shooters as much as I thought I would. First of all, I like my peace and quiet. I don't want to talk to anybody that I don't know online, first and foremost. And I want to follow the story, right? I will say Mafia, the Old Country, might be nominated at the Game Awards for Best Narrative because let me tell you, the voice acting, the acting, the character development, the narration in this game is really good. There's been some moments where the character Enzo needs to talk to Don Teresi, and Luca. He's Teresi's right-hand man. And there's been some oh shit moments, like I'm scared. Because especially that one scene where your character Enzo is getting initiated into the Mafia, and he think he in trouble because he's been fucking around with Isabella, and you think you gonna get in trouble by the boss because you're screwing the boss's daughter. But it's not that. And then they add this suspense music. And I'm like, oh shit, we about to get our finger cut off in this Mafia. But it turns out it was an initiation for Enzo to be a part of the Mafia. When it comes down to that narration, it's really good. People don't like it. I get it. But the narration in this one is really good. 60 frames per second. They do have a performance mode. I think, although some gamers would say that is standard, that is a standard for me. I genuinely like performance mode and 60 frames per second in my gameplay because I like how smooth it is. At home, because I play this game at home. At my house in the media room, I have a 4K TV. It's not a flex, but I do have a 4K TV. So my expectation of performance mode is up there. Nowadays, you're not going to catch me playing a video game that doesn't have a performance mode because it's just not the standard now. This game looks really good when I'm riding in the car or riding a horse and going around the environment. It looks really pretty. It really does. As the 19th century's Sicily, Italy, they made this game look very pretty. I gotta say that. Narrative is really, really good. Now, I will say, as I wrap up my review here, yes, it is. I don't want to say mediocre. I can't say that because I like how standard it is because I'm not a stealthy player, right? I'm not a stealthy player. I do like innovation in a video game, but I do like to say this is a game where I can come home from a long day at work, pop on, play, and don't have to think about it. In comparison to Elden Ring or Black Myth Wukong, where I ain't played Black Myth Wukong in months because I have to really think about it. I have to be strategic, and I have to turn my brain on to play that game. This game, you don't really have to turn your brain on. And after a long day in the office, you want to turn your brain off for a minute. You do. So that's why I say that this game is good in my opinion, because it is very straightforward and linear, and I kind of like that sometimes in a video game. And that's what Luke Stevens says on his review. He likes the linear. He likes the narrative. I like the narrative. I like to sit and act like I'm living in a world experience, but it's a video game, and I'm living into that environment, and I'm really not personally interacting with these characters, but I'm interacting with these characters and understanding the story. And that's what this game brings for Mafia, the Old Country. And I honestly do think I would not be surprised I would be surprised if it wasn't nominated for Best Narrative. This game probably will be nominated for Best Narrative at the Game Awards in December. But like I say, if you are a linear player, if you like the narrative, this is the game for you. I really got to say it. There is a difficult mode. I play on easy mode because I had to get through the game to give you guys a review today. But like I say, this game is good. Let's give this one a shot. It's better than Mafia 3 for sure. By far. By far. All right, so another quick review. Now, this is a new show that I have just started watching. I get into this funk tea where I'm always looking for shows to watch. Nowadays, it's because I've started to watch Grey's Anatomy. And my mom that watched Grey's Anatomy, obviously, and my little brother, we watched Grey's Anatomy because we watched it when we were kids, but we didn't understand it. So as adults, we watched it. I started to watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm on season 9, and let me tell you, season 9 is just not the same. Grey's Anatomy, they're still running, and the name is still valid. I'm starting to lose track of Grey's Anatomy now because the season's not how it was. Right, because Mark Sloan dies. My favorite Grey's Anatomy character is Lexi because I think she's cute and she's very smart. She's very witty. She dies because they were in a plane crash, so she died. They killed her off in the show. Nowadays, I'm like, okay, Grey's Anatomy doesn't have my attention. Any show that I'm sitting on my couch at home, if I'm watching and I'm tuned in, then you got me hooked. But if I'm watching your show and I'm leaning on my phone and I'm on TikTok, I'm scrolling through emails, I'm not really paying attention, now I'm turned off. So I went to Paramount Plus to see what they had going on. And let me tell you, there's a show called Lioness. Zoe Saldana. And I'm not objectifying my women, but fine ass Zoe Saldana's hit show, Lioness. Let me tell you about Lioness. IMDb gives this show a 7.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 73%, and Prime Video gives it a 7.8 out of 10. So it's a C, C plus. You can get through with a C plus. You really could. You really can. Really. Let me tell you about Lioness, and I can only give you kind of a short review here too because I'm still on season 1, episode 6. I think I'm on currently. I watched it last night. I'm gonna watch it again when I get home tonight. And this is the premise of the show. As a CIA fights against terror moves closer to home, Joe, Kaylin, and Byron enlist a new Lioness operative. And Lioness, that's the code word because they're all in the CIA, and that's their code name is Lioness. Joe is forced to confront the personal sacrifices she has made as the leader of the Lioness program. And again, the Lioness is a code name program when it comes down to the program for her. And let me tell you, Joe is played by Zoe Saldana. So she's like the lead operative when it comes in, and they're recruiting Cruz Manuelos, and her name is Leza de Oliveira. She's a great actress. Very, very good actress. She's like the toughest nails. Her character is tough as nails. I mean, she more dude than me as a joke, guys, but she's tough as nails. And she's going through all of these things when it comes down to her being the new recruit for CIA because Cruz, in the first episode, she was a stripper in Oklahoma City. She was a stripper. Her parents is no longer in the picture. She doesn't have any family. She goes with this group of thugs who I guess probably was her pimp and pimping her out, and they sell drugs in Oklahoma City. And Cruz wanted to do something better with her life, right? So the character, I'm giving character names because it can help me examine the show better. She enlists herself into the Marines because she wanted to escape her past life of her being a stripper. She was being abused by this guy who was the drug dealer, her boyfriend, punches her in the face. When I saw that, I wanted to go through the TV and punch that man in his face. I don't like it when men punch ladies. You're never going to catch me hitting a girl. Doesn't matter how mad she makes me, how pissed off she makes me. The only why, and I say this not in a sexual way, the only way that I'm touching a girl is if I'm making love to a girl. If she's liking it, we making love together. That's the only reason I'm touching a girl. You're not going to have me, I'm not going to do a sucker punch to a girl, punches her in the face, abuses her. So she enlisted. She enlisted the Marines, right? So when she enlisted into the Marines, she becomes tougher, right? Now, as her PT scores are high, her performance is high, she said, no, you're too good for the Marines. You need to be CIA. And Zoe Saldana's character, Joe, she enlists Cruz into this. I think Liza de Oliveira, let's see what she plays in, because she's very good. She's a very good actress. She was in Lock and Key. She was in the Tall Grass, and she was also in Guest of Honor in 2019. Some of these shows I haven't seen. As an upcoming actress, I think she's really good. I really, really think she's really good. She is married, sadly, because I think she's cute too, but she's married. But it's good to see her. It's good to see her in some stuff. It's good to see her growth when it comes down to it. I can't wait to see more of her stuff. Joel is also married to Neil, played by Dave Annabelle. Now Neil is the husband who is also a doctor. And of course, they have 2 kids, right? Let me tell you, Joel and Neil doing something good, right? Neil is the doctor. Joel is the CIA operative. They drive a Mercedes and an Audi. They got a big house. You know they doing well. When I saw the car that Joey's out there on his car, it was an Audi, and then the husband who's a doctor driving a Mercedes, and they got a big ass house. I'm like, God dang, who do I need to screw to have something like that, right? I envy that. I say that because I envy that. So they're going through some, not marital troubles, but let me tell you, the little badass kids. Let me see if I can get a name here. The little badass kids, not Charlie, but the other grown, the 14-year-old daughter. And it's not populating her picture or her name. But I forgot what I think it was Kate. I think that's the daughter's name. Maybe. Probably not. Born in 2008. Okay, so Kate is she plays by Hannah Love Lanier, and I'm sure Hannah Love Lanier is an actual good person, right? She's the actress. But Kate, the character, little badass seed. Kate needed her butt whooped, right? Because I know we're in this generation now that parents don't whoop their kids nowadays. Back in my generation, when I was a kid, if I got in trouble, I got my butt whooped. That's just my generation. But when it came down to it, she did bad. She's just, the character is 14, so she's going through that preteen stage, and she thinks she is an adult, 14, and she thinks she's an adult. So I laughed at that. She becomes pregnant by this boy, and then they get into a car accident that kills the baby, right? So she's going through a whole lot of preteen things, and the mom, Jo, played by Zoe Saldana, she's gone months and months on end because she's CIA, so she don't really see the mom as much. She just needs the mom to be there more. But it's hard because when you're in CIA, it's a government job, right? And when government tells you to do something, you got to do it, right? Now she's just stuck with the daddy. The daddy is occupied with the doctor, and, it's just kind of creates that friction between the family dynamic. Meanwhile, Charlie, as sweet as she can be as the younger daughter, she loves her mom and dad. She's like the sweetheart, right? Then you have Michael Kelly. He plays Byron Westfield. He's one of the government operative. Michael Kelly is in almost every political government show. I know him from House of Cards. Michael Kelly's a very good actor. He's been in a lot of like the political type shows, so that's his role. That's his thing. It's good to see Michael Kelly in a lot of these shows because he's a very fantastic actor. If you guys know, you know he's been in a lot of great things. Let me Google because I got the IMDb page up. Let's see. He's been in Man of Steel. He's been in Now You See Me. But you've seen him in House of Cards. You see him in The Long Road Home. He's been in Black Mirror too. So very, very good. Criminal Minds. He's been in a lot of Law and Order. So if you know, he's been in a lot of political type good shows, and he plays that role really well. Morgan Freeman is in this one. I can't review his character Edwin Mullins because I haven't got that far, so I can't review Morgan Freeman's character today's episode, but it's always good to see Stephanie Noor, Aaliyah, Pretty Eyes. That's the person that they're spying on because they're from Kuwait, right? It's political. So very, very good. Nicole Kidman's in this when she plays Caitlin Meade, and she's kind of like Joe's supervisor for the CIA operative. She works for the White House. She works for Capitol Hill. Nicole Kidman, again, and anything that she does is quite amazing as well. So, like I say, that is the synopsis of this show. This show is actually not bad to watch if you want something new to watch. Tough as Nails show. There's been some moments that might be triggering, right? The first episode where Cruz is getting abused, there are some triggering moments. So if you have a trigger warning to a lot of people who unfortunately have been abused by men, trigger warning. When Cruz go into there, they did this side test where they beat the living crap out of her, and one of the guys get on top of her and bear hugs her, and there's some trauma there. So to a lot of trauma moments there. But like I say, this is a binge worthy show to watch. When it comes down to it, I look forward to see what happens to the later seasons into this show. Is a very good watch for sure. Okay, so before we wrap today's podcast, we do have a top story that I am wanting to talk about here today. So here is the top story.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Top story before we wrap.
K.L.P has all the topics, stories, and gossip. It is now time for our top story from K.L.P.
So the top story for today, I want to shed some light, my opinion of what's going on. And the reason why that I wanted to talk about this, because if you guys know, I do also work in the medical field as well. I do more in the medical field than just podcasting and making movies and TV shows. I am also dabbled into the medical industry as well. And there's been this thing that's been going around with the wonderful, the talented Dr. Elizabeth Potter. And I wanted to share kind of my take on this because she's been going viral on TikTok. Of course, we all know about medical insurance. Medical insurance and these insurance companies, I will say sometimes it is hard to work with some of these medical insurances because unfortunately, a lot of these medical insurance, they don't care about the human side of human beings. They care about the corporate greed and they care about the dollar bills, y'all. That is just the unfortunate thing. And with and it's not just a slack on insurance companies for health insurance, it's car insurance, it's life insurance, any type of insurance company. Some of them care only about the dollar bills and how much money they can suck from people. Now, Dr. Elizabeth Potter says bankruptcy could loom in the insurance giant if the insurance giant doesn't accept her clients, and she's talking about United Healthcare. Dispute may force her into bankruptcy, and I just got to say, this sucks balls. It really does suck. Elizabeth Potter, I've watched her video and her idea. Now, Elizabeth Potter, Dr. Potter, excuse me, I got to make sure because she's a doctor. Dr. Potter was pulled out of surgery, mid-surgery, because United Healthcare called her to get some information about a patient. When you're in surgery, it's hard to be pulled out of surgery when you're in the midst of a big surgery. She was midway through with performing her breast reconstruction surgery. She's a breast construction because she works primarily in breast cancer realm of things the most. So she got called out there because a representative from United Healthcare came into the operating from a representative from United Healthcare came to the operating room. The health insurance company wanted to talk to her about a patient on the table, right? This was a quote from Dr. Potter. She says, I got a phone call into the operating room saying that United Healthcare wanted to talk to me, and they said that they wanted to talk to me now. And she said here too, as a representative for a health insurance company that is partnered with her, that's how she makes her money. She has to take the phone call. Dr. Potter also told NBC News that she posted a video on TikTok recounting the call that reached nearly 6 million views. Let me tell you, TikTok, when you're a doctor and you post things on TikTok, you kind of have to be careful what you put on TikTok, but hey, she's spreading the awareness. I also watched another gentleman. He was doing payroll, and his video went viral while he was doing a day in the life of payroll on TikTok, and it got him fired. Let me tell you something. If you work on these type of jobs, do not post on TikTok. That gentleman who posts payroll on TikTok, he screwed up. That was his fault. I get wanting to do a day in the life. I would never. I don't even do it today with K.L.P Entertainment or any of my other ventures. I don't do a day in the life. There's some things with K.L.P Entertainment and company that we don't talk about on our podcast because it's proprietary information. So I don't even do it as an independent. Now, during this call, Dr. Potter said the United Healthcare representative wanted more information on why the patient needed an overnight hospital stay, even though the surgery itself had already been approved. The person on the phone asked for a diagnosis for the patient who was under anesthesia on the table. She said, of course, Dr. Potter continued, that call was just this wake-up call. If they can ring me in the operating room, not for something urgent, just for that, and to ask me to justify her staying overnight, they have lost our way. We have lost our way. Dr. Potter acknowledged that it was her decision to step out of the surgery to take the call because in 2025, in the year 2025 with insurance, she said, when they say jump, she says how high. They have to. When you're working with insurance, that's how you get paid. That's how 99% of Americans all across the board rely on insurance to pay some of their operation bills. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest, some of these insurance companies don't even cover a whole lot. I'm just being honest. A spokesperson for United Healthcare said the company said they did not ask, nor would it be ever expect a physician to be interrupted and to interrupt patient care to return a phone call about a notification error, because that's what it was, or any other insurance matters. Potter said United Healthcare denied coverage for the hospital stay. And let me tell you, that's why it sucks as balls part, simply because 99% of Americans can't cover their own. They can't come out of pocket with their surgery or their stay to recovery. 99% of Americans can't cover it. They can't come out of pocket. So Potter, after says that was been declined. Now Potter said that she believes that United Healthcare is retaliating against her because of her social media posts. Right? Again, this is the part where if you gonna go on social media and talk about what's going on, there's gonna be some kickback, right? There's retaliation on social media, putting her at risk for bankruptcy because now United Healthcare will not be a partner with her practice. Again, she put millions of dollars in business loans to open her practice and for her to practice her medicine, to practice what she practiced now and her surgery center is called Red Bud Surgery Center, and that's in Austin, Texas. And now she is no longer sponsored or getting paid by, or won't take United Healthcare insurance, which is a big thing for her because now she doesn't have any passive income from the insurance for her practice to pay her staff, to pay her hospital or her center, and it could lead her into bankruptcy. And that's sad because once you get into bankruptcy, that's a big no-no, right? There's a lot of things you can't do if you declare bankruptcy. It's no shame on people who have claimed bankruptcy, because it does happen. Things happen. Life happens. but it is a thing you don't really want to be in. You don't really want to be in bankruptcy. But it happens. It sucks. We on behalf of K.L.P Aftermath podcast today, I do pray for Dr. Ian Potter, because let me tell you, these doctors, we need them, right? It's the same thing with doctors, professors, and teachers. If doctors, professors, and teachers get laid off or get bankrupt, and I'm speaking from the teacher and professors, if they don't get the salary that they need and these teachers decide to not teach anymore, who is teaching these kids? I pray for the teachers. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't want kids. So I'm not in that realm. Thank God I don't have to really think about who's going to teach these kids, right? Because I ain't got none. So it ain't none of my business. But I do feel for the professors and the teachers. Because if they're gone and they say, bunk this ain't worth it, I'm doing something else, I'll make TikTok videos and make more money doing that. Who's going to teach these young teachers? When it comes down to these doctors, like Dr. Ian Potter, and I pray she doesn't reach bankruptcy. But if she gets somehow into bankruptcy because of this, and she decides not to do practice anymore, and all the other doctors catch on to it, and they say, bump this, I'm not doing this no more, this ain't even worth it, who's going to care for us when we get sick and we need surgery? Who's going to be there? And I'll say this, and I try not to get political on the show. Could this be, and I'm not saying this out of my breath, right? Because I don't want the kickback either. But as an analyst, as a podcaster, think about this. Could this be why the young man, Luigi, shot and killed the United Healthcare CEO? Now, it's murder. He murdered. He going to jail for murder. Yeah, that's murder. But could that be the outcome? Right? Because maybe these insurance companies are performing unethical, unmoral, unhumane practices for their insurance companies because they just care about the money and not caring about legitimate human beings. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about that as these insurance companies increasing their payments. Car insurance. Car insurance is next. Every year, for some reason, my car insurance grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And then when I call them about it, oh, you got this fee, the convenience fee. You're in Atlanta, so it has to increase this fee. You got the fee by phone fee. You got the bona fide fee. You got the travel fee. You got the convenience fee. You've got the microphone fee. You got the human fee. You got the breathing in the air fee, right? Why are they adding on these fees? Because of corporate greed. They care about the money. Some of these insurance companies, they're a monopoly. So either you take it, you're going to need it, right? Or against the law to not have it. Car insurance, I mean. You can go, I would suggest don't go without health insurance, but you don't have to have health insurance, but you need it. Car insurance, you have to have car insurance to drive your car. That's a monopoly. You don't have a choice in that matter. I just want y'all to think about it. That's going to wrap it up here on the podcast here today. K.L.P Aftermath gave you guys a nice lengthy podcast here today. We hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys like the new set that we built here. You know, we're just changing the money coming in. Money coming in from these sponsors. You're right. I heard media. They said, hey, we want you to change your set. I'm like, all right, we'll change it. Thank y'all so very much for staying tuned again. Watch last night's podcast. Bro Code podcast was a fantastic episode, and tonight's show has been even more spectacular as we gave y'all some topics and some stories here today on the K.L.P Aftermath. Again, stay tuned. Bro Code podcast will be back again tomorrow for the latest news in that episode. And, of course, this weekend we're going to be back with What Happened Was with me and Evelyn coming up very shortly this weekend, guys. Again, this has been the K.L.P Aftermath podcast. As always, I say stay safe, stay swanky. Peace. Yeah.
Made in Georgia.
Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6. brings back the hottest hip hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.